Good morning and welcome to the Bubba Show for Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Hope you enjoyed the Masters. Pretty exciting. So as we do every Monday, we look at we recap last week and we kind of preview ahead this week. And last week was pretty interesting. Another week the markets made all-time record highs and the march forward continues. But I think it's interesting to note that the entire move since we've broken out of congestion here has been less than 3%. So although it feels like we go up constantly, the actual move is not very much. So we're still lacking a little bit of that volatility. But I think we saw some interesting action in gold. I think we saw, I don't know if you could remember, like I saw Friday, but gold was down almost $80. We saw some real interesting action in crude oil. Crude oil's down. It was down about 5% last week. So we're starting to get a lot of that pull out of those riskier assets. And, gold, the supposed safe haven, is getting hammered, and now looks like it's going to test probably that 1450 level. So as I've been continuing to march to my tune, I keep saying, not necessarily that there's a top here, but this is not a place for new money. You can see by the overall action, and I'm going to cover that this week in one of the segments, on, the market internals and what they mean. But as you look at last week's action, the markets were driven up by mostly the defensive sector stocks, the Johnson & Johnsons, the McDonald's, Procter & Gamble, and stocks like that. They're not getting driven up. The market internals are breaking down a little bit here. And again, it's not bearish. It's not what we do. But it's something to be aware of when you're trading. Now, when we take a look into this week we're going to do news to tomorrow on Tuesday because there's a lot of news earlier in the week. Today it does have Empire Manufacturing, in case anybody cares, that could have some effect. But looking forward to the overall markets, the market itself looks to be a little weary. We're going to really see what earnings season looks like, and we're going to get a much better feel for where the market wants to go. But remember, we're coming out after April. We come into the almost the summer doldrums, the little bit of selling pressure. But we want to look for some levels. Now we have. In the Dow and in the S&P, we have no top in place. So we have nothing to base a short sale on there unless we're just strictly gambling and guessing, which we're not going to do. You've seen some divergence in the Russell and in the transports that have actually started to break down a little bit. So looking forward this week, we want to really see the action and get a real grab. But the bottom line always reverts back to you trade your stocks. Your stocks will tell you what you want to do in your particular stocks, because every chart has its own. Now, yes, there is the story that a rising tide will rise all boats, but in this particular case, it's the independent chart and the independent level. So what we want to focus on is where we are going and what to look at. And really, we want to just kind of see if the market will give us some clues and some footprints. Right now, the general markets, there is not a clear set of footprints unless you want to get long, and I think that getting long here is, as I say, is no time for new money. So let's see how they trade. Let's watch them. For Monday, the Bubba Show, remember, the Monday night average Joe options call. Been on fire, been doing well. For the week, have a great week. We'll talk to you on Tuesday.